Hi everyone, Nubkeks here, and in today's video I'm going to walk you through an optimal opening rotation for the Reaper job in Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. It's pretty much the top DPS right now in the entire game, so I'm sure there's a lot of people that are looking to pick up a Reaper, and to be honest, it's actually relatively straightforward. The opener isn't insanely demanding by any means, shape, or form. I think it's pretty accessible, and you can get really good results very quickly. What I'm going to do in today's video, I'll walk you through it once at a slow pace, right? I'll talk you through each of the abilities, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and then I'll show it to you as well at full speed so you can see what it would actually look like, right? The slow pace one's going to be kind of off because our debuffs will expire and stuff while I'm talking, that sort of thing. So yeah, let's dive in, shall we? A couple of things actually to note as we go into it. One interesting question is, should you use a potion of strength, like a tincture of strength, on the opener? And this is a bit up for debate. It kind of depends from fight to fight. So if you're being more advanced, more min-maxy, the sort of basic concept here is that, well, on the opener, right, our gauges are empty. We've got no gauge at all. We're sort of starting from scratch. So in fact, in theory, we should do way more damage 2 minutes into the fight when we do our re-opener, right? So all the raid buffs are coming back every 2 minutes. When we do that second opener, right, 2 minutes in, we should be able to blast much harder. So it can be better to save your potion for that, and then for the 7-minute reopener as well. It really sort of depends as well on the fight, on what your team is doing, on what your team needs, but it's something to bear in mind that, you know, using it in the opener is something you can do, but might not necessarily be the best thing. Okay, also worth mentioning, again, then we'll jump into it, that this is not a super strict opener, right? There is some variety, some variation to what you can do, such as you can delay Arcane Circle at GCD if you need to, whatever. It's not a huge deal. If that's what works for your raid team or for a particular fight, then absolutely go ahead and do it. This is just your generic opening rotation. Right, let's dive in. So of course you'll be popping Solso before the fight, so you've got a Harvest Moon ready to go. Not going to use this as part of our opening rotation. This is a tool that's better saved for movement, right, where there's forced downtime. You can't actually attack the boss, you have to move away, throw out a Harvest Moon at that point. Not something we're going to need against a striking dummy, but something that will crop up all the time in actual real world fights. Real world fights, in-game fights, hopefully not real world fight. Whip out my scythe for a real world fight. Okay, focusing. Okay. For pre-pull, you may not always have a pre-pull, but you can absolutely and should use Harp. It's an extra 300 potency, so you can start casting this about 1 second left on the pull timer and get a bit of extra free damage out. There's no reason not to. And then we'll use Hell's Ingress to dash in and get into the boss without losing any uptime that we might from having to stand still and cast. There's stuff in the way. There we go. Right, so we'll cast Harp. Then we're going to Hell's Ingress in. Go slightly too far because this garden is small and camera angles are hard, and then we're at the striking dummy, right? So what we're going to do here for our first couple of moves, obviously the first thing, most important thing, we always want to have our debuff up. Shadow of Death, right? So Shadow of Death is the first thing we're going to do. We're going to get that on, and then we're going to pop OGCD Arcane Circle to go alongside that, which is increasing the damage of our entire party by 3%. This lasts for 20 seconds, it's quite a long buff. And we also want to get this up early because we want to start building up the stacks from the Circle of Sacrifice effect that it has, so that we can cast our Plentiful Harvest, which not only itself hits really hard, but also opens up Reaper form. We want to get both of those in nice and early into those raid buff windows to get as much damage as possible out during the raid buff, right? It's our biggest burst damage. We want that during all those raid buffs. So we're going to go in with Shadow of Death, pop Arcane Circle. Then we're going to Soul Slice, spend our first charge, get that charge rolling and give us the gauge. Spend that gauge on Gluttony. Then we can do our Gibbet and Gallows. It really doesn't matter which ones you want to do in which order. It's sort of up to your preference. And then we're following that up with our Plentiful Harvest, OGCD Reaper form. And then we're into our Reaper form, and we're just going to do our Reaper form rotation, nothing too crazy. So Void Reaping into a Cross Reaping. We'll OGCD Lemure Slice at this point as well. Then we'll Void Reaping into Cross Reaping again. Lemure Slice again, and finishing it off with a Communio. Then we'll be going straight into another Soul Slice, Unveil Gibbet. I'm standing at the wrong side because I was talking. And then we'd follow it up then with our Gibbet or Gallows, depending on which one you started with. And that's it. That is actually the opener. At that point, you're just continuing with your standard rotation. Obviously, stuff fell off early there because I was talking, but you would have to reapply your Shadow of Death, you know, a few seconds after that particular opener. Just wait a few seconds, though. Just get a couple more hits in if you do have any more raid buffs going. Put in some higher potency hits before you reapply your debuff. But yeah, that is basically it. Let me show it to you at full speed so we can see what that looks like. Here we go. There's Reaper here chilling in the daytime. Gosh, it was beautiful. I spilled some water in my last take of this, and it turned into nighttime since then. It's kind of embarrassing. But yeah, we're going in, Shadow of Death, applying our Arcane Circle. First Soul Slice into our Gallows, our Gibbet Gallows combo with Gluttony, all the Gs. Popping our Plentiful Harvest into Reaper form, and then it's simply our Reaper form rotation. You can see we've got 5 seconds here left on Arcane Circle, so we're making sure to get that into Arcane Circle. Communio, bam, and, well, there you go, right? And then finishing it off. And dashing away in style, give the Striking Dummy a dirty look, throw a harp at it for fun, and then, yeah, we're going to go sit back on this bit. This is the hardest part of the opening rotation. And a crucial part, of course, you need to do this in every single one of your fights, you know, as you go and brood, as Reapers are wont to do, brooding in this beautiful Oriental garden. But yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful. And I will see you next time, keeping it short and sweet, for more Final Fantasy XIV stuff. See you all then. Bye-bye.